Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Another question that is coming quite frequently on the channel is that can you please tell us about the Epic of Gilgamesh? Well, the Epic of Gilgamesh is one of the earliest known works of literature that originates from the ancient Mesopotamia, especially from Sumerian and later Akkadian tradition. The text, written on clay tablets in cuneiform scripts, date back to approximately 2100 BCE. It recounts the adventures of Gilgamesh, the king of Uruk, and explores themes of mortality, friendship, and the pursuit of wisdom. The story begins by introducing Gilgamesh as a mighty yet tyrannical king of Uruk, two-thirds divine and one-third human. He is unmatched in strength and power, but is oppressive to his people. And the story goes like this, that to counter Gilgamesh excess, the gods create Enkidu, a wild man who lives among animals. Enkidu is civilized after an encounter with a temple prostitute, Shamat, who introduces him to human customs. Hearing of Gilgamesh's tyranny, Enkidu travels to Uruk to confront him. After a fierce wrestling match, Gilgamesh and Enkidu become close friends. They decide to undertake heroic quests together, the first of which is to defeat Humbaba, the guardian of the cedar forest. Despite warnings, they kill Humbaba, angering the gods. The goddess Ishtar proposes marriage to Gilgamesh, but he scornfully rejects her. Enraged, she sends the bull of heaven to punish Uruk. Gilgamesh and Enkidu kill the bull, further offending the gods. As punishment, the gods decree that Enkidu be killed. So Enkidu dies, and his death devastates Gilgamesh, who is confronted with the inevitability of mortality. He sets out on a journey to find Unapishtim, the immortal survivor of a great flood, to learn the secret of eternal life. And Unapishtim is the survivor of a great flood who is granted immortality by the gods. And Unapishtim explains that immortality is reserved for the gods. Gilgamesh attempts to gain eternal life by retrieving a magical plant, but a serpent steals it from him. So despite gaining insight, Gilgamesh fails to achieve immortality. He retrieves a plant that restores youth, but loses it to a serpent. So Gilgamesh returns to Uruk, accepting his mortality and focusing on his legacy as a ruler. So he takes his pride in his legacy and the enduring walls of his city, symbolizing human achievement and mortality. Well, the Epic of Gilgamesh was rediscovered in the mid-19th century during excavations of Nineveh, the ancient Assyrian capital, by the British archaeologist Austen Henry Layard. Thousands of clay tablets were unearthed from the library of King Ashurbanipal, and he lived and ruled between 669 to 631 BCE, and among these was the standard Babylonian version of the epic. The cuneiform script on the tablet was deciphered by scholars like Henry Rawlinson and George Smith. George Smith first translated parts of the epic in the 1870s, including the flood narrative, which attracted significant attention for its similarity to the biblical and the Islamic story of Prophet Noah. Well, if you're interested in that, we can talk about it some other day. But the fragments of earlier Sumerian versions of the story were later discovered, predating the Akkadian invasion. These shorter texts provide insight into the evolution of the epic. Key locations of discovery include Ur, Nippur, and Sippar. Modern archaeological efforts have uncovered additional fragments of the text, filling gaps in the narrative. These discoveries highlight the epic's widespread influence across Mesopotamia. The Epic of Gilgamesh provides a glimpse into Mesopotamian religion, politics, and views on life and death. The flood story in the epic parallels other ancient flood stories, suggesting that there are shared oral tradition across cultures. So in the story, we see some characters, like the character of Gilgamesh, which is considered as a heroic yet flawed king, symbolizing humanity's strength and weakness. Enkidu, Gilgamesh's companion, representing the balance between nature and civilization, and Ishtar, a powerful but vengeful goddess. And Onapishtim, the immortal sage, a figure of ultimate wisdom and humility. And Shamhat, the temple prostitute who civilizes Enkidu and bridges the divide between nature and society. The epic explores humanity's existential struggle with death and search for meaning in a finite life. The bond between Gilgamesh and Enkidu is central, highlighting the transformative power of relationships, and the gods repeatedly punish arrogance and defiance, reinforcing respect for divine order. And Enkidu's transition from wild to civilized reflects human progress and its costs. The epic suggests that human deeds and creations, rather than eternal life, offer a form of immortality. Some argue that this is completely a myth and has no grounds in historical events. However, archaeological evidence suggests that Gilgamesh may have been a historical figure. Inscriptions from the Sumerian king list mention him as a ruler of Uruk around 2700 BCE. The epic incorporates historical elements such as description of the city of Uruk, which aligns with known archaeological findings. And on the counter-argument, while the story is embellished with supernatural elements, it likely reflects historical kernels as was common in ancient storytelling. So it might have been possible that there was a man by the name of Gilgamesh, but there was a lot of flavors were added to the story to make it look a lot more than what reality was. And also, critics claim that the flood narrative in the epic is a derivative of other traditions. And the counter-argument says that rather than being borrowed, the flood story reflects a shared cultural memory. Some scholars argue the epic is purely a work of entertainment or religion. However, the text likely served political purposes, portraying Gilgamesh as an ideal ruler whose exploits were meant to legitimize kingship and emphasize moral lessons. It emphasizes on the city of Uruk, reinforces the notion of cultural pride and urban development. The counter-argument says that the blend of literary, political, and religious themes demonstrates the complexity of ancient texts, which often serve multiple purposes. And feminist interpretations often criticize the portrayal of female characters like Ishtar and Shamhat as either destructive or subservient. However, Shamhat plays a pivotal role in civilizing Enkidu, highlighting the cultural significance of women in bridging the natural and human worlds. Ishtar's rejection underscores the tension between mortal and divine relationships, not merely gender dynamics. And the counter-argument says that the portrayal of women in the epic reflects the nonsense roles of goddesses and mortals in Mesopotamian cosmology, rather than simple misogyny. The Epic of Gilgamesh is considered to be a foundational text in world literature, influenced later works, and serving as a lens through which we understand early civilizations. So it has its literary impact. It influenced later works such as the Homeric epics, some modern literature. It has its historical insights, which provides valuable information about Mesopotamian society, religion, and worldview. And finally, it has a philosophical depth. Its exploration of universal themes resonates across cultures and eras, making it a timeless masterpiece. Well, the Epic of Gilgamesh remains a testament to humanity's enduring quest to understand itself and its place in the universe. Again, it's considered an epic, and if you're interested in learning more about some of the details which I did not purposely cover in this lecture about the counter of Gilgamesh with Onapishtim's tale of flood, and some of the other details, we can certainly talk about it some other day. Let me know in the comment section below. Till next time, Assalamu alaikum.